Hi guys, welcome to lesson 5 of JavaScript from Introduction to Application. Today we'll be talking about arrays, what they are and how to use them. So what is an array? Array, without going into much technical details, is simply a collection of objects. An array by itself is a data type. An array has capability to hold data of any type. That means from what you see here, this is like a sample of an array where you have a collection of integers. Like I said, it's a collection of objects. So each of these is like an object. So we have 56, 45, 78, and 107 inside of this array. So it has 4 different elements. And this other array is an array of strings. John is a string and is a name, so you can just call it an array of names. And it has 3 different elements in it. Like I said, array can take different data types and you can even mix and match. So in this, you can actually put number with strings. It doesn't really matter. You can even put an array inside of an array. So how do we create an array? Well, I'm glad you asked. So we're going to be using this template just like we've been using before. And here we're going to create an array, call it nums. So it's going to be an array of number. And here I'm going to show you the most effective way of creating an array. There are other ways to create an array, but I'm going to show you just this way. This is the recommended way of creating an array. So if you do this, you do square brackets and you close it. So this gives you an empty array. So here you've created an array. Nums now is an array. And you can choose to put something in it. So you can do, like we did, 45, you can do 78. And now you have an array, nums, that has numbers 45 and 78. So now you've created an array. So you can display your array if you want. So I'm going to do JSON.stringify, then put nums in it. Well, the JSON.stringify is something we'll be talking about in our upcoming lesson. But here, what it does is just to make sure this nums is converted to a string. So if you want to see the array just the way it is, written here and displayed on the screen, you want to do something like this. So this will make it well formed and you can see what it looks like. All right, let's save it and refresh our screen. So we have the array 45,75. Good. And one thing you will find yourself doing very often while working with array is to find the length of the array. So now let's display the length of the array, see how long the array is. So it's going to tell us how many elements we have. So let's refresh our screen and it gives us 2. So we have 2 elements in the array. So apart from length, you also need to access each element in the array. For most part, you will need it because there's no point storing the data if you are not going to use it for anything. So in array, how to get the first element is by using the index of 0. So in array, we call it index. So the first element takes the index of 0, and the second one takes the index of 1, and so on and so forth. So if you want the first element, what you do is just do nums, and you do this square bracket, and you close it. You put 0 in those square brackets. So this is giving you the first element in the array. And let's save it. Refresh our screen. And it gives us 45, the first element. So we can do the same thing, take this to 1, and save it, and we'll refresh our screen, and we'll get 78. That's the second element in it. Another thing you will find yourself doing very often when working with arrays is adding more elements to the array. So now we have only 2 elements, and we can add more to it. So we can just do nums.push. So that's how to add element to the array. I'm pushing 100. I save it, and let's see what we get now. So doing the stringify, so I'm trying to stringify the whole thing so I can see all the array, all the elements in the array. I save it and refresh the screen. So now you see we have 3 different elements in the array. If you ever need to replace an element in the array, that is very easy to do. All you need to do is target that element. So if I'm trying to replace the first element, I do num0, then I'm changing the value to something else. Don't forget, we have 45 here, and I can change it to, say, 1001. And I save and refresh the screen. And you see, 45 is gone. We have 1001, 78, and 100. I showed you how to add element to an array by doing push, but you can do pop to remove an element from the array. So if you do pop, it removes the very last element in the array. So let's see how this works. I can just do nums.pop. So what this does is to remove 100 and we'll be left with just 2 elements in this array. And let's save it and see what we have on the screen. We'll refresh and see 45, 78, 100 is gone. The last thing I would like to discuss is adding arrays together. So if we have nums1 and we have another variable, say nums2, that has these values in it. And we're planning to add both together. So we can do the variable nums is equal to add them together, what we need to do depends on which one comes first. If you want the set of elements in nums1 to be first, so you put nums1 first, then you do concat. So that's concatenation, you concat and nums2. So nums1 concat nums2, pretty much add nums1 and nums2 and put the value in nums. And remember, nums1 is still going to remain nums1. num2 is still going to remain nums2. The result of the addition is going to be assigned now to nums. So nums1 is not changing, nums2 is not changing. But we add both together and we have nums. So let's refresh the screen and see what we get. So you see the elements in nums1 are listed first and the elements in num2 are listed afterwards. This brings us to the end of lesson 5. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you around for lesson 6, when we're going to be talking about JSON, what they mean, and what you can do with them.